So I'm here in Photoshop just trying to show uh, what I would like to see or how I would envision this. So you have two nodes. I've pasted like a matrix multiplication, um, the mult matrix diagram here down there. So I would like to see, or I would hope to see one day a multiplication input into every transform. So basically, you would be able to skip all the steps I showed you previously. So ideally, you would just be able to connect your matrix um, or your world matrix directly to another node. That would just drive that other node. That would be that simple. So how I would see that is there would be a um, a attribute a sorry, there would be a input matrix slot for every input where you would specify what's coming in. So in this case, I would uh, want to see, or I would like to see a world conversion node which gets the actual parent matrix, inverse matrix, and multiplies that before doing anything with the input. So this comes in, this is checked, this would get multiplied by the inverse matrix to make it local to the node. Then I would also have the TRS, meaning the same as the uh, matrix, peak matrix node, where you can just drive the translation, rotation, or the scale. And then uh, ideally, you would have a weight that sets the amount of the matrix. So you would be able to turn off the basically just weight the matrix that's coming in. I'll explain in a moment why I think that would be interesting. Uh, Alternatively, you could also use a bool, but I think a weight would be more flexible for some cases. So obviously you would be able to set the matrix like in any matrix if you want a static value. So let's say you want an offset, like with a parent matrix offset, you would just want to set an offset uh, by multiplying any matrix or any transformation. You can just open this, fill that out like let's say you want to add another offset in the positive x or something position, you could just type that in. So um, yeah, so that would be just, let's say we want to drive this, uh, this by this node, you just connect it, set the world's conversion, um, set all the transforms, and then set the weight to 1, and then you're done. You're absolutely done. Um, okay, so no more rotation order conversion, no more like decomposition nodes, all that is totally gone. So why not just one input matrix? So that's where it gets interesting. Um, so multiplying matrices also implies you could like um, basically build a new hierarchy uh, using multiplication of matrices. So matrix times matrix, matrix times matrix is a hierarchy. So we could like build here certain scenarios that we could use for rigging. I would think about like space conversions. So how that would work, I'll explain in a moment. So I forgot to say like if you plug this in, there is an obvious problem. Um, your translation is also active. So that's why I drew this here in blue. So I thought of a couple scenarios about this. Either we do it like blue, like with a constraint. So this would basically set the or update the transformation. Um, it will become blue and will react like whatever constraint you already, uh, how constraints work in Maya. So they set the value, you could still move it, this would still work, but as soon as you do an evaluation, the value gets overwritten. So why is this one here yellow? So I would think that if we still want to plug in something into the translate, for example, the matrix input is overwritten. So that's the most flexible solution I've found. So as soon as you set something here, this gets blue, um, and then you could still plug something into the translate if you, for example, want to do some vector operation. Um, if you would tick these would become gray again. Um, that's what I think. Another option would be just to have it grayed out and be basically become inactive, locked, yeah. So you cannot set or modify it anymore. And third option would be just to have a new node, like a M transform or something, where there is no input translate, uh, rotate and scale. So it's just a new transform node that is dedicated for matrices inputs. That's the other uh, more fail-safe solution. So uh, that's that. So let's say we would use a normal matrix, then we would obviously enable the world conversion, and then we could, for example, like do some multiplications, just a normal multiplication. Um, this doesn't make any sense, just an example. I don't know, I don't know, I never saw a case where you would multiply the world by the matrix again, so that's just a connection example. But why the weight? That's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's like for space conversions in rigging, um, we could use these values, these weights to slide or interpolate between matrices. Um, having these options at your disposal enable a lot of problem solving directly in the transform node. Let's say you want to do a parent constraint, you would just disable the scale and you would have your parent constraint. If you want to have a position constraint, you just do the T, you leave the R, and if you want a full matrix driven object, you leave them all on. Then also if you want to have a position and a rotation constraint, you can have a second layer, I think, just two connections where one is a T and the second is the R. I think that would work as a position and rotation constraint where there's no, uh, it's like an orient constraint and a position constraint, which is not the same as a parent constraint. So anyway, uh, that would be basically your whole constraint setup replaced in Maya. So no more nodes within nodes in the hierarchy, no more nodes that are there but don't do anything anymore because you, for some reason, removed the connections or did constraint twice or whatever. Um, that simple constraint setup could just be done here. Not sure about multiple inputs. I guess you could use the weights and blend like that, maybe. Um, Not sure. I think your interpolation for the rotation will still have an issue, but you could use a slurp uh, for that under the hood, maybe. So yeah, I think most cases it would you could get away with everything here. For space switching, you would just switch the weights to zero with a choice node or something. So you can basically, for example, like parent the elbow or the shoulder to the torso or to the world or to the neck, whatever, or your hand to your head, to your um, to your torsos by just multiplying these weights using a choice node and an attribute. So that would be like 4 connections maybe. Um, Also, you would no longer be needing to do uh, like channel connections because the compounds sometimes don't update that well. So all that gets removed from the uh, from your daily task. Another benefit would be scripting. This is just connect and set four things and you would be done. And with a normal setup you saw earlier, like I showed you earlier, you would have like 500 words, 500 lines of code to just do a constraint using matrices. So I think this would save a lot of time for many artists. So also no more rotation order problems. Um, yeah, and that would probably solve most of the parent that could solve most of the parent offsets issues as well because the connections are reduced to just two, and you can just parent two transforms underneath, and then you're done, and your hierarchy would look super clean, and your graph will not like self collapse on itself because there are downstream connections going upstream, uh, like you saw here in Maya. Doesn't really that doesn't really work that well. So the spaghetti, gets solved for you. So I hope this was clear. Um, I hope you guys maybe have a better way of implementing it, or maybe can elaborate on my idea. Uh, I hope something comes out of this presentation. So I would thank you to have a listen to me and have a good day.